So people that come out of this, they don't really understand what's going on in that, but I'm going to put a link to the description. It was one of my second phone calls I had. This is with a probation officer supervisor, which is Mark Mell. So Terry Olson referred me to her supervisor after, failure on answering any of my questions, but she thought that her supervisor would be able to be a little bit more convincing on wording it or trying to get me to believe on how they wanted to try and word it to make it sound authentic and somehow convince me on somehow it's appropriate to have a pedophile around someone's minor kid and not even notify the parent, and him to sit there and tell me that when they do a mandate report that I don't get a copy of that, I don't even get notified about it, and my daughter's mother wouldn't get a copy of it or be notified about any of it, that when they do a mandate report, it only stays between probation and the child protection, which is a bold lie. Now, this probation officer supervisor, as he's looking into it and he's reading it off from his computer, clearly stated that he had restrictions. He was not allowed around my minor child at all in those earlier years, around her, living with her, nothing whatsoever. The only thing he ever had approval at that point was to have supervised contact with his own children, which had to be set up with the parent, which was the kid's mother. So his ex's, whatever, kid's baby mama. This probation officer supervisor, Mark Mell, in his own words, reading it off his own computer, straight up said Jeff Watney had no authority, no approval whatsoever to be around my kid, living with my kid, period, at all, during those earlier years when they were living in South St. Paul. I'll put a link in the description on that. And this is after the probation officer, Terry Olson, referred me to her supervisor. And this was like one of the first phone calls I had with the supervisor on him trying to convince me on, oh wait, don't call my supervisor, which his supervisor is Jim Scoville. He gets all nervous at the end of the recording about, no, let me look into this. You don't need to call him yet, but if you want to call him, you can, but just give me time to look into this and let me get back to you. So he clearly admits in his own words, none of that would have been approved. There was no report done, which there should have been. Mind-blowing. And when I'm questioning it, what do? It's in their own words. What more proof do you need? But I'll put a link in the description.